The following video demonstrates how the export diameter of Placido-based topography measurements can be increased and how better measurements can be achieved. The following technique that I will show you, you should use especially for PERAMIS keratoscope measurements, but also for the keratoscopy part in case you want to perform combined, topoaverometry measurements. But the following technique is also useful and beneficial for serious measurements. First of all, select your patient as usual. You can use the search function. You create a new exam and you select the PERAMIS keratoscope measurement. Now you position the head of your patient in front of the PERAMIS device, just for checking if at first the height is correct. So this black ring should be in the height of the eye of the patient. Then patient, just go back for covering your eye, because at first I measure the right eye of the patient and therefore I cover the left eye. Therefore, I'm using an eye patch. This will help the patient easily to fixate the target inside the device. In the Schwind PERAMIS, the patient will see a red fixation target. Now, the target is to show you how you can increase the export diameter for the topography measurements, and we will show you how you should tilt and turn the head of the patient. First of all, I position a spacer between the forehead and the forehead rest. Okay, currently my patient is looking straight. The aim of this spacer here is to tilt the head of the patient to avoid shadow that comes from the orbiter, especially when you have patients with deep set eyes. It's very important to position the spacer here. Furthermore, I tilt the head of the patient. Now I'm measuring the right eye. Therefore, I turn the head of the patient to the left eye, and this is beneficial in case your patient has a bigger nose to avoid the shadow coming from the nose of the patient. Now you see the head of the patient is tilted to avoid shadow that comes from the orbiter or the eyebrow. Take care that the spacer is not below the forehead rest, otherwise you will create further shadow. You see again also the head I have tilted to the left side because now I'm measuring the right eye. Now my patient is in a very perfect position to start my measurement. First of all, I'm searching for the eye of my patient. And you see in the center there is a white spot, and you see also a white cross. First of all, I have to center this white cross to this small little spot. My patient is still fixating the red spot in the device. Additionally, next to the centration, I have to bring the device into a perfect focus, and therefore you see I have two curved lines, one here and one there, and I have to overlap these two curved lines in the center. Before I acquire my image, I have to let the patient blink. Please, patient, blink, and now open wide. Keep open. When I'm in a perfect centration and perfect focus, I start my measurement by pressing the joystick button. Normally, you have to perform minimum 3 keratoscope measurements to check afterwards if your measurements are reliable and to select the best one for your treatment planning. This video is only for demonstration reasons, and that's why I skip the further measurements for the right eye and go ahead with the left eye. Therefore, patient, please go back. Now I have to cover the right eye, again with my eye patch. Again, I position the spacer between forehead of the patient and the forehead rest. The head of the patient is tilted now. And because I'm measuring the left eye, and again to avoid the shadow coming from the nose of the patient, I turn the head of the patient to the right side. Take care that here is also no gap between the chin and the chin rest of the patient. I move the PERAMIS device to the left eye, searching for it. At first I have to center, and then I'm doing the perfect focus. Now patient, please blink and open wide, open as wide as possible, and keep open. Now I acquire my image by pressing the joystick button. In case the patient is not able to open the eye as wide as possible by him or herself, you should open the eye manually. And therefore you should use such kind like a cotton stick, and then you, depending on if the upper or lower eyelid is covering the cornea. Let's start with the lower eye. If it's covering the cornea, you pull it down like this without touching the eyeball. In case the upper eyelid is covering the cornea too much and creates too much shadow, let your patient look down. Please look to your foot. Now I'm positioning the cotton stick here and rolling the upper eyelid without touching the eye, and I'm pressing on the orbiter. So patient look straight, and now you can open the eye manually without touching the eyeball. Okay, my measurements are finished now. The following example shows the amount of Placido rings for a turned and tilted head position, as shown in the previous video, compared with a straight aligned head. As you see on the left picture, where the head was turned and tilted, 18 full Placido rings are projected onto the cornea. This leads to a larger topographic export diameter. The picture on the right side shows the amount of Placido rings for a straight head position. Here only 10 full Placido rings could be projected onto the cornea. Due to this, the export diameter and topographic information is limited. In this case, the export of the PERAMIS keratoscope measurement would not be possible, because the export diameter is less than 5 mm. When you have a look at the acquisition quality, you see that the coverage in percentage is equal for both head positions. This means that you should not only take the coverage into account if the keratoscope export is suitable or not. Schwind Eyetech Solutions recommends to apply the demonstrated head position for every patient to increase the amount of full Placido rings, which is beneficial for the export of the diagnostic data. Furthermore, it was analyzed in an internal study if the turning and tilting of the head influences the high-order RMS, the spherical aberration, coma, and the pupil offset. The results show that there is no clinical relevant change. For further information regarding the analysis of the mentioned data, please refer to this user information. In case of open questions, do not hesitate to contact the Schwind Application Department.